Good morning, everyone. This is my Model 2 discussion post, and the question is based on the historical attempts to address substance use, which approaches are you naturally drawn to? Yes, towards the end, I'll talk about the disease model. However, looking at the modern war on drugs and the religious perspective and approaches, views of um, substance use and addiction, first of all, with the modern war on drugs, kind of looked at addressing maybe the morals um, of people and deviating from like the economic inequalities that might have affected substance use. And similarly, with the religious approach, also looked at what people were lacking and that they were immoral um, rather than that it was an addiction and then that people had were battling with addictions. And with the modern war on drugs, from I guess what we know, with the modern war on drugs, is that it led to a lot of discrimination, a lot of stereotyping, mass incarceration of African Americans disproportionately um, when looking at other um, racial and ethnic groups in the US. And then, I mean, even up to today, when you go back and look at like the religious views of addiction, although now there's statistical research and possibly some people's like views have changed. However, there's still in a lot of religious settings, people are still looked as lacking something and being immoral. And um, when they have an addiction, there's kind of like this view that it's kind of like easy, and then like that choice is always there, and it's an easy choice to make to stop um, having an addiction. And then looking at the disease model of alcoholism, which the author actually said um, alcoholism slash addiction is like a disease, I guess, in the book, and not it's like, and didn't say it was actually a disease. But however, regardless of how you look at it, um, the disease model helps people understand that usually, like people usually have more of a choice up until they get addicted to that substance. And once there's an addiction, then it becomes less of a choice. I guess the disease model with some of the criticisms is that people feel like there's a lack of accountability and that people are kind of viewed like they can't, kind of told they can't change because they have like a disease. I mean, whether valid or invalid, I think why I'm intrigued by the disease model is that in a large sense it takes away, it attempts to take away like that shame, that inadequacy that people feel when they're battling with addictions. I think possibly there could be a few twists here and there of still combining both the self responsibility, accountability, but then also like using empathy from the understanding and then less of shaming of people through the disease model. So I guess I do like the disease model, and maybe if it's combined with cognitive behavioral therapy and other things that help people view distortions and all of that. So yeah, the disease model because it talks about not shaming people, which is I mean something Brené Brown, which is a book we used in our field class last semester, talks a lot about like shaming people, maybe with narcissistic disorders that she used as a specific example, but then just other disorders, including substance use disorders. Um, thank you.